Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. If chart analysts are correct, then XRP is about to change your life a lot faster than you probably think. I'm going to share with you perspective from 13 different chart analysts, XRP chart analysts, in this latest Moon Lambo hot jam. And I tell you, I'm actually having a hard time keeping up with all of them. There's so much opinion surrounding XRP right now because the market's hot and things have been picking up. It's actually very difficult to keep up with a ton of different chart analysts in the way that I'm doing it. But I'm doing my best to keep up just for you folks here. And because I think it's important to get a broad array of opinions from reputable chart analysts. And what I continue to find, and I'm going to share with you more brand new posts from all sorts of chart analysts, all of them, I don't know that there's a single exception. All of the XRP chart analysts that are talking about the subject have said XRP is in a position where it is about to go. It's about to go in another major run-up. I know, we just had one. We just had a big run from a short period of time. What was that, like of $2.80, and then it ran to $3.65, whatever. It was somewhere around there. That was fun. That was fun. It's not done, though. If these chart analysts are correct, though, this is going to change everything. And the reason I say it would change your life faster than you think is because this is the end of the cycle. If they're correct, this final burst, when it ultimately goes, this will be it. And when I say final burst, I'm not saying that it'll literally be in one day. It could be over a span of weeks, for example. And for instance, the blockchain backer the other day, he said it's possible that the entire XRP rally, getting up to the peak, it could be over within the next 2 weeks. Now, he didn't predict that would be the case. And certainly not to put words in his mouth. He wasn't promising that it would be over in 2 weeks. He's just saying with the state of things, this is where we are. And this is a perspective I keep getting from every chart analyst that will opine. And what I find is that when you have just like every XRP chart analyst saying the same or very similar things, then what the group of chart analysts thinks is likely to happen almost always does. Almost always. Just like in the days, well, more than just a few days, leading up to this most recent pump when XRP at $3.65, all of them were screaming. There were high levels of activity from tons of XRP chart analysts. That is rare. That is not normally what happens. I'm telling you that, there's actually something to this whole technical analysis thing. There really is. And if you get a broad range of opinions, you can start to find stuff like this. That's the reason that I take the time to go through this. So you're gonna like what you hear here in this latest Moon Lambo hot jam. But before going further, I do want to be clear: I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this video, it is what time is it? 6:42 p.m. Central Time, which is my time zone. It is Sunday, July 20th, 2025. XRP is $3.45. Bitcoin is $117,224. Here's a post from chart analyst Tech Dev, and he's been posting like crazy too. Sometimes he'll have really long gaps between posts. Not now, because things are heating up. Everywhere I look, I can see the same type of message, whether it's specifically from XRP chart analysts or just chart analysts that are talking about the state of things in crypto. It's go time, folks. It just is. So here's the post from Tech Dev with his 536,000 followers. He simply wrote, 4 years of altcoin compression is releasing. And you can see what's happening here. This is breaking out of the triangle, and this is the longest such compression in the history of the crypto asset class for altcoins. It's breaking out, folks. Everywhere you look, it's so obvious that your life is about to change. I mean, if you have sufficiently invested in the crypto space, if you have broad exposure and you put enough, this is the part where you actually do get to have a completely different life because of financials moving forward. That is actually where we're at. Here's a post from chart analyst Mikey Bull Crypto. He's sharing data from on-chain analytics firm Glassnode. They created the chart that's on your screen right here, and they do fantastic work. They are so data-driven. Them and Santiment, they're a couple of my favorites when it comes to on-chain analytics. But anyway, so Mikey Bull Crypto shared this, and he said, Glassnode alt season indicator just fired. Massive. There's a reason he wrote it in all caps. He's been doing that lately, but he doesn't normally. It's because he's excited, just like I am, and you guys should be too, because this is the real deal. This is actually happening right now. Alt season, my friends. It's clearly going the right direction. Here's a post from the blockchain backer. It's from this morning. And he says, we'll get the weekly close today, and it's been nice to see that the market was green all week. Despite Bitcoin having a red week this week, the entire the entire market cap of the cryptocurrency market still increased. Fresh money entered the market, and it went to altcoins. Ah, you love to see it. And this is the point in time where you would hope and expect such a thing would occur, and yes, indeed, it is occurring. And he said we get the close today. Now, I do believe, and mind you, I'm not a chart guy, and so I could be mistaken on this, so don't take it as gospel, but I believe that the daily close for the chart guys here, it'll be at 7 p.m. Central Time. That's my time zone. So it'll vary, of course, depending on your time zone. So that'd be 15 minutes from now, if I'm correct. It's either that or it just happened 45 minutes ago at 6 p.m. I'm almost certain that it happens at 7 p.m. If that is the case, and we know XRP is at $3.45 and nothing drastic happens within the next 15 minutes, this will be the fourth day in a row that XRP closed above its all-time high from January. The fourth day in a row, and the weekly, it's done. So we're sitting pretty, folks. I mean, fingers crossed, I guess, but I don't suspect it's likely that XRP is going to just ridiculously tank to the downside in the next 15 minutes. I mean, it's crypto, so never say never, but, we're very nicely positioned, let's say. Incredible strength from XRP. And then there's this. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart, and look at this bad boy. Bitcoin dominance is down to 60.81%. Pretty wild, right? So this chart's actually just going back a month, but you can see, going back about a month, Bitcoin dominance was at 66.11%. It is down over 5% in just within the last month, but most of that has happened within the last, within the last week, frankly, X number of days, not that many days. And it's been rather precipitous. If you look at that. Look at that. It's falling off a cliff again at a time that you would hope and expect it to happen based on historic precedent. It is happening. It's absolutely happening. And the reason this matters, to be clear, is when Bitcoin dominance goes down, even if the price of Bitcoin keeps trending up, and I suspect that it will, this is when altcoins take over. You get a full-blown alt season as a result. That's what we've been waiting for, because that's where the real money is to be had. Not in Bitcoin at this point. The real money is to be had investing in altcoins, obviously. Here's a post from chart analyst Rect Capital. This is Ethereum's dominance chart here. And check this out. And I'm highlighting this because historically, when Ethereum takes off, that signals alt season's really getting going. And this is taking up. I know a few months ago, Ethereum was dead, right? It wasn't actually dead, though. Look at it, it's rallying like crazy. I mean, the price of Ethereum is what? $3,746. Yeah, I'd say it's alive and well. And so Rect Capital wrote, Ethereum dominance. Words are hard now. Ethereum dominance has increased to just under 12% for the first time in 5 years. In fact, last time Ethereum dominance rallied beyond 11% was exactly 5 years ago in July 2020. Ethereum dominance is now challenging to transition into the green circled phase. So upward, folks. Do you see how everything is so perfectly aligning? I don't care if you don't hold ETH and you're not excited about ETH. Take a look at the whole picture. This is great if you are an XRP holder, the fact that this is happening. And look, history rhymes with itself. It shouldn't be surprising anybody. Here's a post from XRP community member Crypto Arsenal. It says, in unrelated news, XRP dominance is back testing a range that hasn't been broken since fourth quarter of 2019. Look at this purple bar range. Look at this. XRP dominance at 5.39% as he posted this just this afternoon, 12:37 p.m. Central Time. It's gonna blast through that, right? As far as I'm concerned, that's a virtual certainty, and so you're going to be looking at doubling and perhaps tripling. And you know what that means for price, actually. That would mean the price from where it is right now, doubling and tripling. But I say that. It could be more than that because that is based on the current total market cap. But if, for instance, if the market cap were double that, then XRP price would be even higher. It wouldn't be a double or triple. No, it could be like 6 times where it is from now. Or from now. Yeah. So I don't know where this thing's going to peak. That's not a prediction, just to be clear. But it's just, XRP has been so artificially suppressed for so long. Now we have a level playing field. The fundamentals for XRP have never been stronger. It's playing catch up. It just is. I'm so excited to see how this cycle wraps up. I cannot wait to find out here. It's just, and I in a general sense, there's certain things that I feel like I know are going to happen, not literally, but as close to, like, it just means I'm just trying to express that I have really high conviction. And part of that is just face melting price discovery here. Life-changing for myself and so many of you listening. Like, I really do believe that's what's coming up for us. I understand nothing's guaranteed in life, but I really believe there's a high level of probability. This is the time where it would make sense for it to happen. And there's so many analysts that are predicting this is going to be a way, way, way more impressive altcoin rally than what we saw last cycle in 2021 for tons of reasons. Here's a post from Credible Crypto from this afternoon. He said, guys, remember when Ethereum was dead? I do. I remember. I talked about that quite a bit as it was being declared as dead, especially in April. It bottomed out, I think, somewhere around $1,400, and I kept insisting that price in and of itself is not an indicator of whether or not a coin is dead necessarily. Sometimes markets undervalue assets, and when that happens, people who are stupid and don't understand that, and they just don't know things, they'll just be like, well, the price is low, that means it's dead. Duh! Like, that's how their brains work. Price low, it's dead. Okay. And then, on the flip side, when you've got the market going on a freaking rampage because everybody's in euphoria, price is high, it's good now. It's okay, calm down, simmer down there, champ. That's how their stupid little brains work. It's ridiculous. No, the price in and of itself is not an indicator. Sometimes markets get overheated and bubbles inflate. XRP has been in bubble territory before. And that's where you have a ton of opportunity because you can unload it in bubble territory and you've been holding it for years. That's what I'm freaking here for. Okay? Absolutely. And so he shared this post. This is Credible Crypto. He shared a post of his from September 13th of last year. Now, mind you, XRP was being called a dead coin at this time. And I kept insisting, no, it's not dead. It's just priced very low against Bitcoin, for example. And it's been trending down against Bitcoin for years and years and years. But it's at these moments where, XRP finally finds a bottom and then it flips. And I was right because, there's historic precedent for that. And so anyway, Credible Crypto knew that. And so here he's talking about Ethereum and Solana here. He said, dead coins is a bit of a misnomer in the way it's used in this space. People think anything that hasn't pumped yet and is sitting at multi-month lows is dead. People thought Solana was dead at $3. And by the way, let's just pause here to look at the price of Solana. It is currently $181. Remember when Solana was dead? Remember when that was dead? Yeah, I remember. And so he says, if a coin has strong fundamentals, utility, solid tokenomics, and is growing, then it's not dead just because it hasn't pumped yet. It's an opportunity. Exactly. That is the same thing I was screaming throughout all of 2024. Strongest fundamentals ever. And then it did pump, obviously, because markets adjust when something's undervalued. And since then, all we've seen is XRP's fundamentals improve, but not just improve, exponentially improve. Increased utility, more adoption, publicly traded companies using XRP as a treasury reserve asset, using XRP in payment flows, all sorts of stuff. In more tokenization of assets on the XRP ledger, T-bills, for example, money market funds. These are real things that are happening. But we're supposed to believe because the price of XRP was low. It was just dead, though, even though all this stuff is happening. Get the hell out of here, bunch of idiot sticks. Here's another post from Credible Crypto. This is an XRP BTC chart. And you can see that this trend line right now, XRP was having a little trouble breaking up above this trend line. Again, XRP BTC here. Tried 5 times and failed. And as I noted, every single time that it tapped that line, it weakens. Because more and more people were selling at those levels, of course. So then once eventually it gets weaker and weaker, and then you finally can blow through it. And on the 6th time, we did. Look at that. Remember when we were down here? I was sharing that version of the chart before we had all of this new data, because this is just this month this happened. We were down here. It's like, guys, yeah, at some point it's going to break through. We're just going to get back up here again. Well, it just happened. It's not rocket science. It's just obvious. And so he had the meme, many of you will recall, he had that Gandalf guy right here, "You shall not pass." It's from the movie Dork Quest, aka Lord of the Rings. And so he's calling it the Gandalf line and stuff like that. And so he wrote here, "Gandalf smashed, about 15% to the range highs now. Not sure if we will chop around a bit here or just rip through. Either way, XRP looking solid overall." Do you see that? That is in line with what I keep seeing. Now, some analysts are very optimistic that we actually are going to rip from here. Probably the more reasonable approach is what he says here. He just acknowledges it's possible, like literally today, tomorrow, any moment in time, you could just start ripping to the upside. But even if we don't, okay, fine. So you chop around a little sideways for a little bit longer, you're still going to rip to the upside. So we win. It's just a question of, do we have to wait like a tiny bit longer, or do we just get it now? And, ask a different analyst, get a different answer, but they all believe one thing, which is it's going to happen, even if they don't completely agree on what's most probable in terms of time frame. Here's a post from chart analyst Shibo, who I'm not familiar with, but seems to be pretty popular, 89,300 followers on X. And yesterday this guy wrote, "XRP will smash $5 in the next 7 days. This is your final warning." Okay, so I've said many times, there's no analyst that can consistently predict timing for markets, but I can appreciate the conviction because we are at this point. And I gotta tell you, I have seen similar comments from a lot of chart analysts. I've been sharing them on my channel here. It's not that they know for sure that it's going to happen within a specific time frame, but they do know that XRP is so perfectly primed that it would be reasonable to speculate that it could happen at a minimum. I would say that's fair at least. And so Crypto Insight UK, he reposted that and said probs TBH, so meaning probably, to be honest. So he's agreeing with that in terms. He's not promising, it's not a prediction from him. He's saying, yeah, probably within the next 7 days you're going to see XRP smash through $5. Which is why, again, I said at the outset of the video, XRP will change your life faster than you think, if these chart analysts are correct anyway. And then somebody named XRP Scotland wrote to him and he said, "Well, that's mega bullish." Or he said, Will, his name's Will. "Will, that's mega bullish. Just need to stay above $3.40 and then bulls will take over." And then Crypto Insight UK responded and said, "I think we have a big push coming." And let me just reiterate, every analyst that is speaking about XRP that I follow is saying that or some variant of that. And that's not normal. They're not normally all on the same page. When they're on the same page, they're right. Almost 100% of the time, like the vast majority of the time. Here we have a post from Don Alt, very popular analyst, 675,000 followers. This guy hates XRP. But when it comes to charting, he does seem to be intellectually honest. He hates XRP, which just means that he's wrong, and I question some of those analytical skills. But when it comes to charting, he seems to be doing a reasonable job here. And he thinks that XRP could be breaking out too. And he posted this morning. So he's also thinking this could be the moment where, yeah, it's time to start going up, just like we did a few days ago. It might be time for it to start doing that yet again. I keep seeing this. It's really jumping out at me that pretty much every analyst is saying some variant of that. That means something almost always. Here's a post from chart analyst Jelly, who, by the way, he's a great analyst, but he doesn't normally talk about XRP. XRP has caught the attention of everyone. And so here he said, "XRP chilling above previous all-time highs like this tells me it won't be trading below $4 for much longer. Looks ready for another run as early as tomorrow." Again, see the theme when it comes to messaging? Just again and again and again. I love to see that. Here's chart analyst Zoom. He says $4 XRP will be here soon. Do you see, folks? Like, it probably sounds like a broken record, but these are all different analysts saying about the same thing. That's not normal. This is not normally what happens. That's why this is exciting. Like, I know what it means when they agree this much. I really don't think we're going to have to wait that much longer. I think you're just going to wake up, again, it could be tomorrow, who knows, and then it's just going again. Here's a post from 24 Hours Crypto. He says, XRP is going to $4 within the next 36 hours. Okay, I've already said my piece about chart analysts doing time predictions. None of them can accurately predict. But, that being said, again, since we're in this moment, It's reasonable to speculate that it could happen anytime. It's just, again, just take it for what it's worth. Like, anytime I see the time predictions, I tend to just roll my eyes. Even if they're really good chart analysts, I'm just like, come on. But if it's different, so, well, there are ways that it can be different. So if they're saying, based on historic precedent, if roughly the same thing unfolds, well, I have no problem with that. I don't roll my eyes at that. If they're saying, hey, here's what happened in the past, if it happens again like that, here's what that means time-wise, well, that's fine. Because that's not even a prediction. That's just saying if it were to play out that way. But when you make a blatant, very bold price prediction, which is the case here, I'm like, come on, man. So he says, if you're still waiting for $2, you're completely brain dead. That opportunity is gone. It's over. $4, $5, $6, $7 onwards. So he thinks we're going to be hitting those levels soon. And he posted that this morning, by the way. 9:50 a.m. Central Time, so from that point, within the next 36 hours. And look, he could be right, because we are at that moment where it could just start ripping again at any time. Here's a post from chart analyst Crypto Wizard, XRP USD chart. He says, delivered again. I called for a God candle, and the heavens delivered. As called, XRP has printed a ginormous candle, oh boy. Wizards are enjoying the ride up, plus 73.31% from this call. And so he's sharing one of his posts from July 13th. And so, credit where it's due. And then he says, another wonderful call. Please prepare for $4.50. Folks, another analyst saying it's about to go $4.50. And we're talking short term here. This doesn't mean that it's peaking here. None of them are making that argument. They're just talking in the short term to get the party, back in motion here. And then it shall proceed. Here's a post from chart analyst CW. Says XRP hasn't resistance. If whales just push the price up, the rise will be rapid. Okay, I've seen that take from a few different chart analysts saying there's really not a whole lot of resistance above, not immediately. So, given that's the case, if you just get some more demand here, because we did get into some buyer exhaustion. But if you just get some more demand here, you can just start ripping to the upside, because there's not a lot of people trying to sell at various points in between. So if the books are thin in that regard, well, yeah, you can just melt upward. That's the point. So, but he's saying, yeah, there's no notable resistance basically where we are. It's just like, it really is more so seller exhaustion. I've seen that argument from a few analysts anyway. Here's a post from chart analyst Dark Defender. XRP is maintaining its strength at the same level as it was in November last week. Could you please check the MACD figures? And of course, MACD, in case you're wondering, is the freshest hip-hop artist on the scene today. And then he cites the resistances as $3.61, $5.85, and $9.76, and then $18.22, $23, and supports at $3.33 and $3. So you get through, according to him anyway, $3.61, and some analysts are saying it's more like $3.50. So they can fight amongst each other if they want to, but it's about that range. And then he's saying next notable resistance, $5.85. Melt upward, my friends. Here's a post. I actually got 3 posts from this guy. This is chart analyst the Great Matsby, XRP USD chart. And you can see he's highlighting Bollinger Bands here. So you can see how they tighten these blue lines. There's the lower boundary, the upper boundary. And you can see how they tighten. And as they tighten, that indicates that they're going to have an explosive move. Now, that doesn't tell you if the move will be up or down. But in a bull market, I'll argue that the move, when it does finally break, it's going to be to the upside. That happened last cycle and the cycle before that in 2017. And it happened in 2024 when the Bollinger Bands got the tightest they'd been in history. And so here he said, XRP is experiencing a re-expansion of the monthly Bollinger Bands, similar to 2017. During that period of continued expansion, XRP surged by an additional 1,300%. Can history repeat? Oh, maybe, just maybe. He also shared this post. So XRP USD chart here. He says, just to clarify, a 1,300% increase would align perfectly with the green level of my GAN analysis, targeting approximately $45. What do all the XRP haters have to say about that potential? Okay. Look, I will not say it's impossible for XRP to hit it this cycle. I do not think that's remotely probable. I'm just telling you my honest opinion. But I could be wrong. I don't have an ego. If I'm wrong, I'll just say, well, I guess my hunch was wrong. No big deal, because I'm not marrying myself to the idea, so it won't be hard for me to do that. But I'm just being honest with you. I know we'd all love to see $45 XRP this cycle. I sincerely doubt that. I really doubt it. But even I, being the conservative type here when it comes to price expectations, even I will say it's not literally impossible here. And then here's another post from the great Matsby. He says, I overlaid the fractal from April 2017 onto the price action starting from October 2024, and so far, it's aligning perfectly. If this pattern continues to hold, the price could reach a top of approximately $20, not $45. Let's see what happens. So it depends on which analysis you're looking at, and I don't know what he has more conviction in, given what he's just shared here, whether he thinks the GAN one at $45 makes more sense, or $20 if you throw down the fractal here. $20 doesn't sound remotely crazy. Like, if that happens, frankly, $20, I don't know if it'll happen. That won't surprise me, actually. If it hits $20, that would not remotely surprise me. Then there was also this. From the great Matsby. It says, people don't realize that XRP had an 800% monthly candle following that continued Bollinger Band expansion. And then chart analyst XR Punky responded and said, this is also why I've been saying a $26 to $33 XRP is possible this cycle. Anything more than this is bonus. Okay, I think that's a fair enough take there. 26 to 33 bucks. Man, that'll be life-changing for so many people. Oh my God, that'd be buck wild. And again, I don't know if it'll happen, but ain't crazy. It's not crazy. I'll tell you if I think something's crazy. I am not shy about that stuff. If somebody starts calling for $100 XRP, I'm like, you're out your damn mind. This cycle, you're out your damn mind. I'm not saying it can't happen at some point in the future, but this cycle, hell no. Not a snowball's chance in hell, my friend. And then here's a post from chart analyst Mikey Bull Crypto, XRP USD chart. He says, XRP move to a cycle peak has started. 2017 playbook aligning. And so he's highlighting what so many analysts before have highlighted, and I've talked about it on the channel too. You're talking about this first major pump, half year of consolidation, second major pump. You can see the second major pump for XRP has begun. So that's almost certainly what we're seeing right now. It's the real deal here. Same thing happened in 2017. That's what he's highlighting. First pump, consolidate sideways half a year, second pump. And it's not like you get that pump in one day, Like, for instance, the second pump, I know it went on for about 2.5 weeks. And I guess the first pump, maybe it went on a little bit longer. I don't remember the time frame. But, look, it's a genuinely exciting time to be an XRP holder. There's never been a better time to be an XRP holder. So it's just cool stuff. Okay, and by the way, as I wrap up this video, it's 7:07 p.m. So if it's correct that 7 p.m. is when the charts close, then, yeah, we just got our 4th day in a row with XRP above the previous all-time high. Look at that. Suck it, toxic Bitcoin maximalist. Oh, it's good to be an XRP holder. It is so good to be an XRP holder. You gotta love this, folks. Oh, man. So, anyway, I'll check back in with you guys again soon. It's too much for me to keep. I do my best here to keep up with everything that's being shared. It's just that with all the excitement right now, it's just this incredible deluge of information. It just won't stop. It's just a veritable torrent of information coming out. And it's fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's a lot, and it's hard to keep up with here. But I will continue to keep you informed as to what these reputable chart analysts in the XRP community have to say. But it is looking good. I'm telling you, this is not normally the state of things. But we're also not normally at the very end of a bull market, but we actually are right now, which is great, because this is where the most fun, crazy, life-changing price action happens. I'm just thrilled to be here, and I hope you guys are too. Seriously. This is a big deal. Like, we're really there. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.